On this edition of Army Reserve Today, one Army Reserve soldier honors the fallen at the Army 10-miler and various military marathons in a unique way.
That's why I chose, in my small way, to show my appreciation for him and them for their service to this nation.
Also, Army Reserve Aviation brings its A game during Global Medic 2019.
Making sure the aircraft is operational. If anything goes wrong with the aircraft, I should know what the problem is and help troubleshoot with.
Plus, the Army Reserve works with the New York City Fire Department on disaster response training.
Soldiers practice search and rescue techniques in FDNY's subway simulator.
And Army Reserve veterinarians train on live animals at a local animal rescue.
We have a lot of humanitarian missions. It really grows a lot of our relationships in countries.
These stories and more ahead on this edition of Army Reserve Today. Welcome to Army Reserve Today. I'm Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Richardson. There are a myriad of different ways for veterans to honor their fallen brothers and sisters in arms, from both the recent past and the distant past. Many soldiers and veterans choose to honor those they have some personal connection to. For Lieutenant Colonel Frederick Moss, a family legacy of service links him back to the Vietnam War. And it's those Vietnam veterans that he tries to honor in his own unique way.
I always get the question of, why is this dummy running with this binder? Like he must be some staff guy that is just all about his work or something. And I turned around and I said, no, that's not what this is. This is the Vietnam Memorial Wall that I have in my hand. And after that, the tone of the conversation changes dramatically. Because it's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes. So I opened the book up to the first page. And I showed him, and they started looking like, holy smoke, he has literally the Vietnam Memorial Wall in his hand. And he's running with it the entire length of the race. Sometimes the book is a little cumbersome, but it doesn't bother me because there's 58,000 plus fallen comrades in that book. So what I'm doing for this little short period of time is nowhere near the price that they had to pay for us to do what we do. I carry the binder on all of the military-oriented races. Marine Corps Marathon, the Soldier Marathon, the Air Force Marathon, and the Navy Nautical. A lot of what shaped me goes back to Terry Leon Williams, United States Marine Corps 0311 Infantry. It started there. I think my military service started there. He's a Marine, and he was a Marine. He was a man's man, and I learned a lot from him. And several years ago, when my dad had just passed, and I was looking for ways not just to honor Vietnam veterans, but to honor my dad. And so I said, how about we just print the names of this Vietnam Memorial Wall out? That was his comrades. Those are people he went to war with. I knew then that this was way bigger than I could ever imagine. When I came back from OIF, the plane landed and they had fire trucks on the runway. And they were spraying water, and they had a big American flag on it, and it was just a really big deal. We got off the plane, and everybody was hugging and kissing us. It was crazy. I was like, holy smoke. It was hundreds, thousands of soldiers walking through the airport, and I thought to myself, my dad and his comrades didn't get that. It wasn't America's finest hour. So that's why I chose, in my small way, to show my appreciation for him and them for their service to this nation. It's an act of remembrance, and it's an act of appreciation for them and what they've done. My dad really didn't talk about Vietnam. My Uncle Henry, he went to Vietnam with my dad. He didn't make it, he came back. But he wasn't the same. The hidden scars of combat, he presented them outwardly. And by doing so, he ended up committing suicide. Every time I go to the 10 miler, I visit the Vietnam Memorial Wall, and it is a very moving experience for me. I connect with the memorial itself to the point where the names that I have in a binder, I find them on the wall. And I sort of walk the wall ever so slowly, just looking from panel to panel. I connect with those 58,000 plus fallen comrades on the Vietnam Memorial Wall. I didn't appreciate it then, before my military service began, but I sure as heck understood where he came from after my military service began. Because after that, you see things through your own lens, through your own eyes. You could see how beautiful this world is, and at the same time, how dangerous it is, you know, and how deadly it could be. This was pre-Army, and so I was like the ice cream man right here. And so I lost my love of running at that time because in the Navy, it's all about systems and ships, and there's not a lot of room to maneuver to run on a ship. One of the things I'm significantly or seriously passionate about in the Army is people and soldiers. And the Navy's a little bit different. It's not about people, at least from my position. It wasn't about people. It's about systems. The Army is definitely all about people. And when I get to the Army 10 miler, I literally see people that I haven't seen in probably 10, 15 years. It's a huge family reunion. I ain't seen people in a long time. You used to see everybody there. It's like one of the most exciting races for me when it comes to just reconnecting with soldiers that you serve with over time. What the military has is traditions. They got a lot of traditions and a whole lot of legacy. I mean, so that legacy just keeps going on, and they have a legacy of war fighters. In that legacy, they have people who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And you don't ever want that legacy to be lost. So I carry this book. And that book, to me, signifies that you never, ever forget what other people have done for this nation to make sure that we can continue to be free.
Helicopters tend to get all the glory in Army Reserve aviation, but keeping these rotary wing aircraft mission capable and efficient is a team effort that requires everyone to buy into the overarching mission. One mechanic understands not only his role, but how it contributes to and sustains his team's mission at Global Medic 2019.
I love the aviation. I love doing things hands-on and also making an impact on someone else's life. My unit is here for our annual training. We are partnered with other units around Fort McCoy. They give us what's called a 9-line scenario, where the location, the type of injury, how many people, so on and so forth. Once we get that, we head out, fly out as fast as we can to pick up the patient, and then take them to a hospital within the hour. I've been a 50 Tango for a little bit over a year now. I'm responsible for making sure the aircraft is operational. If anything goes wrong with the aircraft, I should know what the problem is and help troubleshoot with the pilots. Everybody's teaching me something. It's not all about like being a mechanic. Even the medic tells me like how to use like the equipment so that I could help them save the patient as well. Joining the Army actually helped me understand what I actually wanted to do in college, in mechanical engineering. Being in aviation is the ability to like fly out the helicopter, maintaining the helicopter, and being able to do something bigger than like what a normal civilian would do.
Coming up next, we showcase a soldier athlete who gets an opportunity to play with the best in her sport. Stay with us after the break.
It's called black ice because it looks like wet pavement, but it should really be called clear ice because you can't see it. A car driving at 60 miles per hour takes about 200 feet to stop, but on black ice, it takes about 5 times as long. If you lose control of your car for 1,000 feet, chances are you'll end up dead.
This U.S. Army Reserve application allows you to stay connected, informed, engaged, and on top of your agenda. With it, you can follow the news and share your favorite articles with other members. it's now much easier to join conversations and be part of a wide range of communities. You can also create your own group and add members. Locate nearby members on the map and find support services close to you. Check into locations to receive relevant information, training schedules, and also mark yourself as safe in emergency situations. Easily keep track of your fitness levels with our Army Physical Fitness Test. Challenge yourself and compete against other members in multi-discipline sports. Explore extensive resources at your fingertips. The new U.S. Army Reserve Double Eagle app. Download it today.
Welcome back. Not many people know that Army Reserve soldiers can represent the Army on the All-Army sports teams. These athletes earn a chance to compete in the Armed Forces Sports Championships, national and international competitions, just like their active duty counterparts. For one Army Reserve officer, seeing a poster about the All-Army team led to an opportunity of a lifetime.
Some people are just a hit. The Army, golf, these aren't typically two words most people hear in a sentence. But for one soldier, they are two passions that marry up beautifully. A bright sun with glasses and a purple unicorn head poking out of a golf bag have fans watching as this soldier makes her way onto the course. It's been a long journey, but the All-Army sports golfer has their attention. Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Mitchell is a warrior on the course and in uniform.
I played all kinds of sports. My dad, back then we're middle class, so not a lot of money to pay for very expensive lessons. And my dad was a great athlete. He was all state in track and field and all state in football. I didn't start playing organized sports until I was in 8th grade. My parents let me run track, and then it just started from there. Golf was hard because it's not a fast-paced game. Mentally, it's fast because you're constantly thinking, you have to shut your brain down. Physically, there's a lot of gaps in between your walking. So the physicality, in high school you carry your own bag, but you're constantly thinking, thoughts running through your head, so you're having to stop that, shut that down. So it's willpower. So that's what makes it a lot different, so that's the challenge, because every sport has different nuances that make it tough, where you have to actually shift gears and be in the moment.
It was during one of those moments she made a decision that changed her life forever.
My dad was in the military, but when we talk about experiences, but we would never talk about the Army or anything like that. And I was a little hesitant when I came home. I asked my parents about, would you mind me joining GROTC? And my parents were fully supportive. They were all about it. All of a sudden my mom was thinking, I'm gonna become a general. They were both just super excited about everything. How I found out about the All-Army Sports Program, I had heard about it, but I didn't know much about it. And there was literally a poster at the Fort Jackson gym. I was a second lieutenant. I think I was an OBC at the time, the Officer Basic Course, which is now public. And I walked in, I saw it, I'm like, oh, this would be pretty cool. So in 2000, I went to my first All-Army golf competition. It was at Fort Bliss, Texas. And the first day I shot an 88, which I'm like, oh my gosh, because it was tough. I was scared.
Years later, Mitchell boasts titles and a very impressive military career. She plays the game she loves and serves her country proudly. This month, she played in the PGA Tour's military tribute at the Greenbrier, and also spent time talking about the Army.
Whether it's through sports, whether it's through just soldiering and mentoring in general, that's our job, is to grow the Army and to build upon the legacy we already have, and to make sure that we're, striving for the best, pushing those soldiers forward, taking the time to talk to them, taking the time to know their families, because at the end of the day, that's what we're about.
Mitchell's commitment to her nation and dedication to her soldiers are evident from the moment you meet her.
That's the honor and the joy of serving within our Army and being an Army Reserve soldier, that we're able to go forth and just do great things for our nation.
Army Reserve soldiers partner with local emergency services regularly to flex their joint capabilities for disaster response. Every year, the Army Reserve teams up with civilian services at an exercise in New York. This year, it took place at the Department Training Academy on Randall's Island.
Soldiers from the 413th Chemical Company Decontamination, the 456th Area Support Medical Company, and the 144th Minimal Medical Care Detachment are part of the Command and Control Readiness Response Enterprise Task Force Alpha. This task force is responsible for supporting civil authorities in the event of a national disaster. These soldiers trained with the New York Fire Department from September 25th through the 30th at Randall's Island, the site of the New York City Fire Department Training Academy. The New York City Fire Department created a simulated chemical attack to refine decontamination techniques and exercise capabilities. Soldiers also practiced search and rescue techniques in FDNY's subway simulator before conducting operations at the Bowery subway station and Jacoby Medical Center. Additionally, first responders also had the help of local actors to provide a realistic training experience. Reporting for Army Reserve Strategic Communications, I'm Staff Sergeant Felix R. Fimbres.
Veterinarians must come up with inventive ways to refine their skills as animals aren't always available locally. This is especially true for Army Reserve veterinarians who might be at reserve centers in remote locations. The 73rd 62nd Veterinary Detachment found a way to incorporate refresher training at an animal rescue in Great View, Washington. Sergeant First Class Kenneth Scott has more on the story.
The soldiers of the 7362nd Veterinary Detachment, a Washington State Army Reserve Medical Command unit, set out early in the morning towards the Sunrise Equine Rescue in the town of Great View, Washington. It is Battle Assembly Weekend, and the veterinary unit is using resources in their local community to train for their wartime mission, as described by Lieutenant Colonel Lisa Ellsbury, a veterinary health officer.
The main purpose is to get experience hands-on, so when somebody has to be around a large animal, when you're dealing with a 1,500-pound animal, it can be quite intimidating. So it's good for the soldiers to experience that before they're out in the field and having to do it real-time in potentially a combat situation.
Part of the MOS refresher training for the unit's veterinarian and veterinary technicians is to apply bandages and to administer medications and vaccinations to large animals, as well as clean up their area and groom them.
They love coming out here. It's a very positive learning experience for everybody. They like helping the rescue by doing their chores and also just being around the animals and learning those important tasks that you can't get just at the unit.
It is one of their task items, and at the same time it's something that's helping, and we're volunteering, and so that's kind of nice. Makes you feel a little bit better about going to work.
This Army Reserve Detachment is full of soldiers who care for animals full-time in their civilian careers, but most of them do not work on large animals. If deployed overseas, like Afghanistan, these soldiers would team up with a civil affairs unit to visit local nationals' farms and treat the health of their animals and livestock.
We have a lot of humanitarian missions where we're helping locals with their animals because some places that's all they have for food, or that's all they have for hunting is their animal. And if it's not healthy, then their family's not healthy, and it really grows a lot of our relationships in countries. So,
Janine Dolezal is the president and founder of the rescue. She explains that healthy animals are a local challenge as well.
Well, Mason County has a huge need for our services because a lot of horses are neglected. A lot of owners are uneducated about how to take care of horses, and then they end up, with a starving horse in their backyard and they don't know what to do. And as soon as I bought this place, I had calls coming in. Do you want my horse? And that was before it was a rescue. So we started taking horses and we're like, oh my goodness, we need to do this for real.
The Sunrise Equine Rescue, a nonprofit, relies on donations and volunteers. The staff are advocates for the abused and neglected equines. The horses they have are used for therapeutic purposes with children and adults, as well as teaching basic horse riding skills and training for shows. The 7362nd Veterinarian Detachment is one of about 100 Army Reserve Medical Command units across the nation of medically proficient citizen soldiers. They specifically increase the combat potential of our military by delivering vital medical capabilities. Reporting from Grapevine, Washington, for Army Reserve Medical Command Public Affairs Office, I'm Sergeant First Class Kenny Scott.
So coming up after the break, the Army Reserve Medical Command's help on the Hoopa Reservation highlights the benefits of the Army Reserve creating partnerships. Stay tuned.
Winter storms can often lead to you being stranded in your car. Don't leave your vehicle for assistance unless help is visible within 100 yards. Display a trouble sign like a bright cloth. Also, raise your hood. Run your car for about 10 minutes each hour to keep the car warm. Make sure your tailpipe is unobstructed. A blocked tailpipe can force carbon monoxide into the car and lead to injury or death. Winter storms. Are you ready or not?
Winter is a popular time to go on vacations, but it's also a time people try activities they rarely do or might not have done at all.
Hey buddy, this is an advanced slope. Are you sure you're ready for this?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good. Winter sports can be great fun, but they're dangerous without proper training. Know your limits. Broken bones and bruises aren't fun. When you hit the slopes, will you be ready or not?
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back. Our medical units have an amazing ability to use real-world training opportunities to supplement communities that are hard-pressed to meet local needs. One of our medical battalions jumped at the chance to gain valuable training while augmenting the short-staffed medical clinic in Hoopa, California.
More than 40 Army Reserve soldiers from the Arizona-based 74 53rd Medical Battalion traveled to Kimau Medical Center in Hoopa, California to augment medical care for the local Hoopa tribe and surrounding communities. Eva Smith, the medical director of the center, describes the need for the innovative readiness training event her committee requests annually.
You know, we're in a pretty rural site, so it's hard to recruit, let alone retain. And so it gives us a little bit of extra help, and we'll take it when we can get it.
The Department of Defense's Innovative Readiness Training Mission pair up with training requirements for active Guard and Reserve service members with real-world requirements in local communities. So explains the commander of the Medical Battalion, Colonel Eileen Brown.
This is real-world training, and we're providing no-cost health care to the medical center, and it's pretty much hands-on and using their abilities to function independently or side-by-side with the clinic staff.
We've been real fortunate to have them come here for more than 10 years, probably, I don't know the exact date, but it's been something that the community's expected, and it's been great.
Reporting from Northern California on the Hoopa Indian Reservation, I'm Sergeant First Class Kenny Scott for Army Reserve Medical Command.
Good training requires good simulations and scenarios. To make that possible, the Medical Readiness Training Command has invested resources to help mimic the types of situations medics would actually face in combat. A little fake blood goes a long way.
I'm part of E&E, so we do all effects and enablers is what E&E stands for. We do all the makeup and the bandages on the mannequins. We actually have the MATS, which is a multiple amputation trauma simulator. And then we basically just come out here and OC for them a little bit. We train them on stuff that they can do intervention-wise and everything. So what has happened is a notional mission has occurred and they've taken casualties. So we called up a 9-line to the next closest cache to come get them. The cache has received that 9-line now, and they're sending out a unit to come pick up these casualties. So when the unit gets up here, their medics should talk to the ground medics and just get a kind of a notional idea of what happened, basic injuries, and who is the most severe casualty. As soon as they find that out, they can apply some more interventions. If the ground medics have already ran out of materials, they can apply more interventions and everything. Then they will triage and load up depending on most critical to least critical to get them to the proper care that they need. And we kind of just make sure it's realistic as possible for them.
So the effects and enablers is actually starting to get a lot more attention now by MRTC. They're starting to put more funds to it because what we do is actually very key. What we're trying to do is remove the idea of notional training. We don't want people saying, oh, this is an injury, there's nothing there, let's pretend what we're going to do. Let's actually put something out there, make it bloody, make it hard for them to put a tourniquet, hard to dress it.
Every year, soldiers from non-combat specialties are still expected to brush up on their basic soldier skills. Sometimes they find ways to incorporate both field training and their primary jobs into an action-packed annual training. Legal Command has such an exercise where their paralegals get to refine both their legal acumen and their ability to shoot, move, and communicate.
Paralegal warrior training is a great course. It allows students to come here and get refreshed or even trained up on some legal topics, as well as work on their WTBDs. So today we're at the CACTAF, and we're about to step off for a couple of missions that'll test the soldiers' ability to not only move tactically and work on their soldier skills and their warrior tasks and battle drills, but it'll also test their legal acumen when they get into the field and have some injects thrown their way. And they'll have to react to that and work with the judge advocates to find a solution to some of the injects. Because we're soldiers, we have to be ready to move, to shoot, move, and communicate as all soldiers do.
The Army Reserve is great at marrying the civilian skill set of a soldier with the soldier-related specialty. Sometimes that means giving soldiers opportunities to lead regardless of their rank. For the 980th Forward Support Company, Specialist Reyes showed that he had the right stuff to keep his kitchen going during Operation River Assault.
I just love eating food, I love cooking food, and whenever I had the opportunity to do this, I took it.
Reyes has to do a lot of quality control check, a lot of checking up on the troops. Definitely safety is the biggest thing. We got knives, we got heat, we got a lot of different things. He's in charge of the welfare of those soldiers. So the biggest thing for him is make sure the soldiers are okay, make sure the food gets out on time, make sure that the food is in the proper temperature zone so that we don't have soldiers getting sick in the field.
I'll run the kitchen, so I'm in charge of about 5 people. We have our own meals that we prep, and that CK has his own meals that is prep, and we just kind of just gang it all and finish the job. Pretty easy, and once we get the teamwork done.
It's so far been a rock star for us. He's got meals put out on time, he's helped the other kitchen, he's taught other soldiers how to cook and how to do different techniques. So for us, it's not just about leading the guys that are in there, but preparing the next group to take his spot.
It brings a smile to my face, knowing that I did a good job.
Firefighters have stressful jobs as it is, and Army Reserve soldiers who serve as firefighters must maintain both their soldier skills and firefighter skills. Keeping trained up on both comes with its unique challenges. However, soldiers at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin are finding effective ways to do both.
Today we're out here performing structural firefighting operation drills with the 683rd Firefighting Detachment.
We get up every morning, we come out here, we train, we go back, and deal with the rounds as they come. It does become a way of life. When you are going into burning buildings, that's who you want to protect. And we're out here for us first, and then victims second.
We do the exact same things as all civilians. Our search, how we learn out the same, even textbooks. We listen to all the same standards as the subject matter experts in the field. And the biggest difference that we deal with a whole lot more of ammunition, things that go boom, and more hazmat oriented.
We need to find out whether there's victims, we need to find the fire, get out the people that we can, save who we can, and save property when we can.
Not just a job choice or a career, it's a passion.
In the Army, if you go to combat, you're there for your brothers, it's the same.
That's all for this edition of Army Reserve Today. I'm Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Richardson. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks for watching.